Trevor here with Make It Snappy. If you're watching this, that can only mean that you've been visited by a cat burglar. The 04 to 09 Prius is a hot target for catalytic converter thefts. What happens is the human piece of garbage gets up under your car, often with a sawzall, chops it off, and can be gone in just a few minutes. This is the part they sell for just a couple $100, but your cost to fix it could be in the thousands. So this is a video on how to install a replacement in those models for just about $100. These are the things you're gonna need: a 14mm socket, along with at least a 12-inch socket extension, a 1/2-inch end wrench, 8mm Allen wrench, and the replacement catalytic converter. The one I got was from Amazon. It's the AutoShack EM26339. The Toyota dealership here in town told me it would be over $2,000 to replace, but for just over $60, this one was the right call. Now, despite saying EPA compliant on here, this one is not supposed to pass your smog check in the state of California, which is why it says it won't ship to me here. I sent mine to my brother in Wyoming, and for about $25, he sent it to me through UPS. In the frequently bought together spot at the bottom, you can also find the sensor you'll need. You need the downstream oxygen sensor for about $35 from YHT Auto. The last three things you'll need will come with that catalytic converter from Amazon. It's the spring bolts, the gasket for the front end, and the pipe clamp. Now, this is what it looks like when they're done with it. Hopefully they left you enough of the muffler to be able to slide onto it with a new piece. The upstanding gentlemen that stole mine were kind enough to leave the old spring bolts right where they took them out.
Hi, my name is Bob. I'll be your robber.
Hi, how are you?
Thank you very much.
Since your new cat comes with new bolts, you should just use those. You won't need the nuts that they come with, so feel free to take those off right now. You can also use the 8mm Allen wrench to remove the O2 plug as well. Keep in mind there are two inline O2 sensors. The upstream one is already mounted in front of this assembly, and you'll be replacing the one that they likely cut that sits on the right-hand side of the new converter. The first thing is to place the converter gasket around the outside of the tubing that sticks out from the flange up in the front. The tapered end of that gasket faces the rear of the vehicle. Once that's in place, you can mount the converter on top of it. Just line up the holes, and the tubing in the flange will hold it in place while you slide the other end of the converter over the muffler piece. The muffler is held in place by rubber mounts, so you can likely just push it back enough to slide the pieces together. Once in place, insert the two spring bolts, then using the 14mm socket and extension, you can tighten those down. Once it's where you like it, open your pipe clamp up and clamp it back down on the overlapping parts of the muffler and the new converter. The new O2 sensor goes in right next to the one that was cut. Just push the rubber piece up inside to prepare it to get pulled through the floorboard under the carpet on the inside of the car. Before installation, make sure you pop the plastic piece off of the new sensor that they put on for shipping. Then you could screw it into the hole on the side. Then use a 7/8 wrench to tighten it down. Now on the inside, pull back the carpet on the floorboard of the passenger side. Find where the old one is plugged in, and you push that little tab on the side so that you can unplug it. Then push the other one through the floorboard and plug it in its place before you put the carpet back. The installation is now complete if you're satisfied with the bolts and the pipe clamp being the final product. To make it more permanent and sealed, you can take it into a muffler shop and have it welded, or try to weld it yourself. Before you weld it, mount it all in place and then make some marks around the two pieces that fit together so you know where to line it up for the weld. You'll take the converter back out and also the rest of the muffler assembly. Using a 12mm socket, take the 4 bolts out of the bracket that are near the center of the muffler piece. Then, with a 9/16 socket, take the spring bolts out of the back end. The front of the muffler is held up by those rubber mounts, so wiggle those off and all the necessary parts are now free to be welded. Before welding, I suggest using a stainless wire brush to clean out the soot from the inside of the exhaust, then line up the marks that you made earlier and weld it all the way around. Once welded, follow all those steps in reverse to mount it back in, and you're done.